When a fresh grad tell her that, I'm very agile, I'm very resilient and all these things, I think this is my strength. And what my manager answered her immediately is agile is no longer a strength. Agile is a mandatory among all the fresh graduates nowadays.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Work Inspires podcast, the people's podcast for life, career, and business. So, this time around, we have another very interesting topic to talk about, which is another buzzword that everyone hear, which is how can we be agile at work or being agile at work? And this time around, we also have an amazing friend with us, the beautiful Sook Mun. So, hi, Sook Mun. Thank you for joining us today.
Hi, Mallory. Hi, everyone.
All right. So, a bit quick intro about Sook Mun, yeah? Sook Mun is currently spearheading various employer branding initiatives, including university relations and campus recruitment in, as you can see her background, Shopee, Malaysia. Okay, so prior to this role, she has held different HR responsibilities in consulting, luxury automobile, engineering industries, and she graduated first class honors. Wow, very smart this one. Okay, from University of Malaya and bachelor's of degree in business administration. So outside of work, Sook Mun devotes most of her time to youth empowerment, mentoring, and coaching, which is probably the reason why she's here with us today. So again, thank you so much, Sook Mun, for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah.
We're going to kick off with a little bit of a fun session, okay? Just to make it breeze, fun, and easy, okay? So we're going to play a fun energizer called Picture This. So when I give you a statement, you just share with me or share with the audience what is the first word, first sentence, first statement that comes to your mind. Okay? So the first statement I would say is, what's your coming week like? We're coming up to the end of the week, right? So what's the coming week like?
Next week is going to be very interesting because it's our C Group, the parent company of Shopee, birthday. So I can imagine the first day going to office itself, it's full of balloons, office environment, a lot of people having fun taking pictures, and a lot of like birthday cakes and for all the employees in the company. So I'm really looking forward for next week instead. Yeah.
Is outside people invited?
Not at the moment, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah,
but you can celebrate it first virtually. Yeah.
Okay, fine. I will imagine myself eating those cakes and looking at those balloons virtually.
Yeah.
Okay, second one, a hot topic. The young generations of today. What comes to mind?
They have to work really, really hard compared to our generation or our previous generation. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's the first I've heard this. I'm very curious to know more about this. Why do we have to work so much more harder? And the third one is the future of work in this technological era.
Not so much of fancy like people working remotely and all that, but it's more in terms of you can expect yourself to unleash your potential, not only restricted based on geographical area, but it's more in terms of like cross boundary and cross border.
Yeah, I really like that cross border. I think COVID has really shifted that perspective a lot, right? Like, who knew? I do miss the ability to fly to certain country and speak, but now I kind of don't anymore. We just stick to Zoom calls.
Yeah. and you realize that you can speak to so many more people. Yeah.
Yes.
Without being physically there. Yeah.
Correct. And I was just saying, I was jumping from one call to another call, another call. If it's an actual physical session, this wouldn't be possible. So I'm grateful for that. Okay. All right. So with the topic of today being agile at work, right? Let's first understand, what is agile to you, Sook Mun?
I think agile to me personally, if I can quote one of the line that my previous manager shared with me, when a fresh grad tell her that, I'm very agile, I'm very resilient and all these things, I think this is my strength. And what my manager answered her immediately is agile is no longer a strength. Agile is a mandatory among all the fresh graduates nowadays.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which I agree with her completely in the sense that it's not a good to have skill anymore. It's a must-have skill. And the main elements that we have in Agile is first thing first, you need to be very collaborative.
Yeah.
Second, you need to have the passion of continuous learning. And third one is more in terms of how fluid are you. And lastly, is more in terms of how fast do you react to changes.
Okay, yes.
That's Agile to me. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yes, I like the part where you said that it's no longer a strength, it's a mandatory skill. Like once upon a time, we have them said, oh, the common skill that you need to have for teamwork, communication, and everything, right? But I think Agile kind of blankets it all up. like, the ability to do all this and
Mm.
within you. So and I don't think it's just fresh grad. I think every working adult, every working person to be matter, even your business owner, whether you're in your career, whether you're a manager, director, or fresh grad, you need to have this practice of agility, right? So in that case, I'm imagining myself as a fresh grad. I'm going to walk into Shopee and I go, okay, this is my first month here, right? And I would like to know how can I, okay, I already know I need to be agile. It's mandatory. So how
Mm.
can I portray agility? How can I showcase agility?
I think first thing first is more in terms of how fast you learn, unlearn and relearn. Because I think if you talk about Shopee and e-commerce industry itself, right, there are not a lot of case study that you can find online. Like back then when we were in university, we have a lot of assignments that you can find samples online. You can find a lot of information online. But e-commerce industry or even Shopee, which is just a 6 years old startup, there are limited information that you can find online. So how fast you pick up something and how fast you eventually execute something, that is also in terms of your agility. And also, I think the another point is, again, how fluid are you? Because sometimes, especially when you mention about experienced hires, right? They come from experience, perhaps they are kind of like fixated to do something in such a way. When they went to when they join a environment that is very different, like a startup environment, they perhaps can't perform as what they expect themselves to be. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a very good point. We're talking about cannot perform the way they expect to be. I think that has to do a lot with the mindset of a person, right? Because I remember when I was coaching some of these fresh grads, and one girl actually said to me, Miss, I read that the company value is agile. So I Google and it talks about certification. Does that mean I actually have to do a certificate before I go to work? And I was like, oh no, that's not what it means, But those are some of this sudden notion, and there are people who
Mm.
actually fear such things. So I would like to ask you this, okay, it's a bit off, but when you talk about mindset, what is the mindset blockage that people usually have that stops them from being agile?
I think in my personal opinion, is more in terms of the fear of embracing changes, the dare to disrupt. Like, no, will be perhaps sometimes something that's blocking you is like, what will people think of me if I do this thing differently?
Yeah.
What will my boss react to me if he or she doesn't like my proposal? So all these things is blocking you from voicing out. All these things is blocking you from thinking a bit differently and also eventually embrace the change. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, just personal note lah. Have you experienced something like this before where you are your own worst enemy? I know I get that a lot. And so sometimes when I want to practice something new, try something new, or
Mm.
go out of my zone, and I have this thought that, oh my gosh, Mallory, what if you fail? What if this bothers you? What if people get disappointed in you? So those are things that actually come to me. Do you have such things?
Yeah, and eventually I tell myself, you got nothing to lose. Yeah. How,
Ah,
how worse can it be? Yeah.
yeah, that's a good. People always said to me, just ask yourself this question: what's the worst that can happen, right? And then when you
Yeah.
ask yourself enough, you realize that it's not so bad after all, right?
Exactly.
So to all the fresh grads, I think the key point for you is that when you enter the workforce, right, don't be afraid to try because it's part of as much as it's a work, you're also discovering a lot by yourself. So you have people like Sook Mun here who is very supportive. So you can always in doubt go and seek. It's better to try and do than to keep saying no, I don't want to do it. So try and feel better than not try at all, in other words. Okay.
Mm, mm, mm.
Right. So when you're talking, okay, so we kind of got the mindset part sorted, right? And you also know what with Agile, it also comes back to a lot to do with the work culture. Because like Shopee is a very fast-paced environment. It's like I have friends who say that I just breathe like, okay, I caught my breath, and then I was like, okay, go swim again. And I'm like, okay, we're gonna go swimming. So it's always moving, it's always fast. And I think that also drives the people to, I gotta move, I gotta move, I gotta move, I gotta be quick. What are some when you see in Shopee, right? You've been to
Mm.
many, many organizations before. So what are some key traits you see organization culture must have in order to cultivate agility?
I think this is a good question. In fact, when I ponder upon this question, a few things that come to my mind is first thing is how do you ensure that you continuously adding value to your stakeholders and shareholders in certain contexts, right? And second is more in terms of how do you organize yourself. Make sure that the team themselves also is very self-organized. So I think this is also very important in an agile team. And lastly, is always strive for improvement. So I think these are very important traits that we want to see among the employees or among the team that is, especially the high performing teams as well. Yeah.
Okay. So the need to strive for improvement per se. Okay.
Yeah.
And okay, now let's talk about when you talk about improvement, right? It comes back to feedback, it comes back to fear. So a lot of times that people don't dare to make mistakes, like I said, because they don't dare to try because they scared I get scolded, right? So as a manager, so I mean in our podcast, we have a lot of managers listening to this as well. Especially now we have this new group of generation working with us. So how can we kind of encourage people to, just go and strive for improvement, go and think outside the box, go and push boundaries a little bit, in a supportive manner, rather than waiting without that fear? Because a lot of times I do give them a chance to try and then they fail and I have to pick up a lot of things. So what's the right way to do this?
My personal experience is when I deal with my team, right? Say for example, after a certain character, after an event itself, right? Usually we will spend at least 5 to 10 minutes for a debrief, and we throw the feedback like very openly. Like I think this one, especially you mentioned about this line, the tone can be better, and this part you pause a bit. So it's more in terms of we are very open for feedback, and in fact, people are very excited for the feedback session to see how can they improve further. And I think one way of us one reason of us providing feedback is we want to see the growth happening in each other as well, in each other career journey. Yeah, because not many people, I think to give feedback, to offer feedback is also a skill. And I think it's a skill that we all should learn. Yeah, not only to learn how to receive, but also to learn how to offer feedback.
Okay. Do you have an advice on how can we give feedback properly?
Focus on the matter, focus on the event or the incident instead of focus on the person. Yeah.
Yes, that's a good point. Because, and my second tip for everybody is don't put emotions into it. So, I mean, naturally, if people make mistakes or they fail us, we get disappointed, we get upset. And what we tend to do is whether you like it or a human, right? We cannot be like, oh, it's okay, you made a mistake, perfectly fine, don't worry about it. You can't do that. So, I think advice for everybody is that how do you break away from your emotions? So if you're upset, just say that, okay, I'm upset right now. Let me cool down, I'll talk to you later. And people can accept that. It's better than lashing out at the wrong timing. And I think one last tip of feedback is that always to give suggestions to improvement, because sometimes people don't know what they don't know. They can't really improve about it. Okay. So Sook Mun, I would like to take you back to memory lane. Okay. All right. Take you back to the time where you first joined any organization, day one. Okay. Day one in, you already know that, okay, I need to learn the ropes. I need to manage. I need to be handled. But I think the best time for you to really practice or know your limit of agility is day one itself, because that's where you know how much you can stretch, why you need to stretch, who you need to meet. So on your day one, like what is the biggest fear that you have usually when you walk into any organization, and what are some of the key tips you say that, okay, you know what, Sook Mun, you need to do this. It's like a must to do.
Okay. I thought of 2 day ones, in fact. One is when I first joined the corporate world, I started my career in an internship in a consulting firm. So when I joined on the day one, no one talked to me. They just give me, I think 1,000 over PowerPoint slides and asked me to read within a day. That's my day one. I was like, so where should I begin with like 1,000 over slides, right? I was like, let me just, forget about it. Let me just read. Yeah. So that's my day one. And fast forward to my recent day one when I joined Shopee, right? I joined during the MCO period when we have the lockdown. Then I have to join everything, start my onboarding remote from home. So my day one is basically like facing laptop, have a 30-minute session with my manager, and then I have to figure out what should I do, what's my immediate priority, and also what do they want me to achieve within the first week, first month, and also eventually the first 90 days. Then I list out my priorities. I tell them what are the resources that I need, what are the information that I need, what are the policies that I think I need to read before I start the first week. So I think this thing I kind of like pick up once I have more and more experience, having more and more day ones, that I know exactly what I want and I know exactly what should I achieve. Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. I think what you did was really good in managing expectations, right? So at the very least, you were proactive. You went to us. I think that's applicable for all fresh grads as well. So even day one in any organization, I think people would appreciate if no one speaks to you, you can just go and be the person that goes, hey, hi, my name is Mallory. I'm new here. I just joined in. What are some things I need to know? I think that itself is a part of being agility. It's not just being sitting down there and waiting for people to come to you, you know?
Yeah,
So I
read the
think
1,000 slides.
I read 1,000 I can't believe you read 1,000 PowerPoint slides. Like, that's so
Yeah,
hardworking. Do you
yeah.
register any of it though? I can't remember if I read 1,000 slides.
And I think that also thanks to again my university life, like try to cram cram all the 6 courses, within 2 weeks time for the exam. Yeah, because the first few weeks usually, we just join a lot of events and then forget about studies. So thanks to my exam period. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I really have enjoyed the whole conversation today. So like I said, 15 minutes very short, and we want to make sure that it's precise and concise for everybody as well. So we would like to wrap up the session with one key takeaway. Okay. So if let's say you are going to talk to a young professional who is looking to improve being more agile at work, okay, what advice would you give them?
It'll be slightly different from what I said earlier. In fact, I'll perhaps ask this person to set up the goals and be disciplined to it. Because I think
goals and discipline.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, we can set multiple goals, multiple milestones we want to achieve, but if we don't hold our words to it, basically it's nothing.
Yeah, I do like that. And I think I believe in this word, like, under promise, over deliver. So going above and beyond not necessarily comes from just, creating the next big thing for your organization, but just look at, for example, after reading 1,000 PowerPoint slides, can I summarize this to 500 slides for the next person? I think that itself is part of being agile at work already. All right. Okay. Thank you so much, Sook Mun, for joining us. And I know you like to continue mentoring and coaching and developing young people as well. So is there any way for our audience to reach out to you if they are interested? Probably ask a couple questions or something.
Yeah, sure. I'm always flexible and also open to messages through LinkedIn. Just reach out to me through LinkedIn. Search for my name and then just send me a message. I will reply the random messages as well, so no worries. Yeah.
Yes. So one is one of those nice ones.
Yeah, and remember, at the end of the day, you got nothing to lose. So just send me an email or send me a message. Again, you got nothing to lose. Yeah.
Yeah. And not everybody gets that chance, okay, people? So make sure you take action today, okay? All right. And with that marks the end of this podcast, for our Workspace podcast. And again, comment down in our chat what kind of hacks or insights you have gathered from this, or just let us know what you've learned from this session as well. And thank you for allowing us and today, Sook Mun, to journey with you and on your journey of growth. And we look forward to seeing where you are and how you are going to go with Shopee and above and beyond.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks everyone for listening.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Stay tuned again for the next episode and take care. Stay safe.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching this episode. We are here to inspire, so we really appreciate your support. Do share this to those people who you know can benefit from this podcast. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe all of our channels: Spotify, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Take care and see you all soon.